Today I'm at Castle Combe in Wiltshire for lots of sport and saloon car racing. Not that I'll be getting to see much of it. In fact, I'm really going to have my hands full because my co-presenter Rebecca is off following her passion, racing. Last month she won in Holland in Car Zero, a red Boxster.
Rebecca, first in class, good day at the office?
A very good day at the office. I really enjoyed that race.
Okay, I understand you have an ambition which you're working on at the moment?
I am. Being a sports car driver, the ultimate race to be in is Le Mans 24 Hour, and I'm working on a 4-year plan to get there.
Stage one of her plan is to win this year's Production Boxster Championship, which is why she has to be 200 miles away in Norfolk at the Snetterton circuit. But we've got access to a trackside camera which shows she's off to a good start in her first race in this blistering heat, and we'll get regular race updates throughout the show. So, whilst Rebecca's seeking glory on the racetrack in Norfolk, I'm going for gold with my car selections here in Wiltshire. Hopefully, they will be irresistible to my first buyer. You'd be mistaken if you thought 36-year-old Francesco Mosca earned his living as a catalogue model. In fact, he's a banker. But please, don't hold that against him. And the cars he's previously owned prove he's loyal to his motherland.
Alfa Romeo, Fiat, I had Lancias also. I'm Italian, I've got Italian passion for cars.
Currently, Francesco drives a Maserati Coupe, an Italian passion many people will crave. Not Francesco, it would seem. He wants a trade-in.
I'm looking for something for a change, for good reasons.
You're willing to get rid of a beautiful Maserati for an SUV?
Yes, I do.
OK, so there is actually a good reason for that. Francesco's wife, Ruth, a bit of a lifestyle change coming up.
Absolutely.
OK, so, Ruth,
Yes.
you don't think that car's going to cut it?
Well, the car is beautiful, but entirely impractical.
I personally think that you could quite easily get away with having this car, I think. Look, because here we have a fully grown male. I'm not a baby yet. Because this car is a GT, it's not just a sports car, I am fine back here. Look, we could fit we could fit 2 babies and maybe the boot is big enough. But it's up to me. So, tell me, what kind of cars you two like?
Well, we like a car that has got a big boot, of course.
Ruth, now, I understand you're from...
Germany.
You're from Germany.
Yes.
And do you like German cars, then?
Absolutely.
OK. Now, the car itself, do you need to do lots of miles in it?
I travel around Europe a little bit, but...
That sounds like lots of miles to me, actually.
No more than 10,000.
OK. So then, Francesco, it's time to find out which cars I've picked for you. But, remind us first, what is your budget?
My budget is around £20,000.
OK.
A little bit more, up to 25 for the right car.
Well, do you know what? I've got something bang in between those two numbers. £22,500. I've got this Volkswagen Tiguan, 2-litre diesel, 170 brake horsepower.
Good, that's the top of the range engine.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's brand new.
Yeah, it's almost brand new, you're right. It's about a year old, so it comes with 2 years manufacturer warranty still left on it. And I think you've got European breakdown cover as well for a year, which is handy if you're going to be going to Germany
Absolutely.
and Italy. Now, this particular car, if you look at the front, you'll notice it's actually the facelift model because it's got a slatted grille. So, it's a good-looking car, do you think?
It looks good.
This particular model, it's the SC, doesn't normally have such big alloys. This one's got 18-inch, so they've upgraded them.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Tiguan manufacturing started in 2007.
I'm sexy and I know it.
The Tiguan name is derived from the German words for tiger and iguana. Check out what this car's like inside, because having come from a Maserati, you might feel it's a little bit of a step down in terms of not necessarily quality, but the luxury inside,
Well,
because cloth seats, not leather.
No leather. It's very German, a little bit dull. I know it's very practical, I know everything will work well, and I notice I've got also sat-nav.
Yeah, that's another option on this car. You've got European sat-nav on it as well. Is sat-nav important to you?
Well, yes, I'm very bad in finding my way, especially around Europe, so that would be something I will use
There's actually quite a lot of equipment on this car. It's got DAB digital radio, you've got Bluetooth for your mobile phone, and if you look down there, there's a little button that says P with a steering wheel. Now, this car has normal parking sensors, but it also has park assist, so it can parallel park itself in a bay. You have to control the throttle and the brakes and the clutch, but it does the steering wheel.
I have to say I'm a very good driver, but not very good at parking, so having this option will be very, very good.
And the economy, 47 miles per gallon.
That's very good.
Let's just have a look in the back. Do you think there's enough room there?
Well, it's good. Perhaps a little bit more would be even great.
Okay. I want to show you a couple of things. If you look closely, this sign here, it says ISOFIX.
Yeah.
And so you can just mount a child seat, nice and easy to attach it and keep it securely in the car. You can actually slide the seats forward to increase the boot space.
Still maybe not as big as I would like to have.
Okay. So, what do you think about the Tiguan?
It's a nice car. Blue is my color.
Okay.
But maybe there is something missing.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Today, the retro race meeting at Castle Combe has a new twist for this year's Saloon Car Championship. Weight is being added to the most successful drivers' cars. The leader of Class C has an extra 60 kilos of ballast to contend with. After the break, Francesco gets to see the rest of my pick of SUVs. Well, I don't want to spoil the surprise. There's more trackside action, which gives me just enough time to brush up on my Italian. Can you just say Maserati for me, because it doesn't sound so good in a Birmingham accent?
The proper way to say it is Maserati.
Maserati. Is that okay?
Perfect. You sound Italian.
Only when I say Maserati. Welcome back to the Castle Combe circuit. Earlier, 36-year-old banker Francesco Mosca looked over the first of 3 SUVs I've selected. Shortly, they'll have to decide which 2 are best to test. Will an Audi do?
This is more what I like.
Good.
I like the Audi badge, very classy.
Yep.
Good presence, and sporty.
This particular model, as you'll see here, is the S-Line, so it has all the kind of styling upgrades on it to make it look as flash as possible. We've got a slightly more aggressive front bumper than the standard car. We've got chrome accents around the fog
And
lights.
I can see LED lights there.
Yeah, we've got LED. Audi's famous daytime running lights there, which give it plenty of road presence, night all day. And we've got xenon headlamps as well. The Q5 is a mid-size SUV and has been available since 2008. It's no surprise that it's bigger than a Q3, but smaller than a Q7.
I like that.
Like you said, this car looks good, but it's also very practical. Now, let's actually start at the back, because I want to show you something at the boot. Unlike with the Volkswagen, where you had the indignity of having to lift the boot up yourself, it's automatic.
Oh, wow.
So, very easy to do. It's handy if you've got bags full of shopping. Is this going to be big enough for you? It is definitely larger than the Tiguan, isn't it?
It's definitely much larger and good shape. You can really, fit maybe even 2 fronts.
You can actually look, shut the boot yourself with your nose. Personally, I really like Audi interiors. They just have a nice quality feel to them.
I agree. This is all black, a little bit dull, but it's minimalistic, very tidy. I quite like it. But what about the engine?
Okay, so I haven't told you yet, but this car has pretty much exactly the same engine as the Tiguan. So it's a 170 horsepower, 2-litre diesel, similar economy. It's a little bit less because this car's bigger. It's about 46 miles per gallon, a 6-speed manual gearbox again. This car actually has hill descent control down here, which will automatically brake the car if you engage it for when you're going down a hill, when you're off-roading. It's got most kit you're going to need.
But I don't see any sat-nav.
Now this is the problem with this car, and it's maybe one of the reasons why they haven't sold it.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much is it?
Well, it's a 2011 car, so it's 2 years old. It's got 1 year's warranty left on it.
From Audi, excellent.
And it's an Audi approved car, so it's gone through various checks. They're wanting just under £27,000, so it is still over your budget. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, for me the important thing is good value for money.
Okay.
And at around £27,000, I think is a good price.
Today we've been invited to Castlecombe in Wiltshire, one of the longest established circuits in the UK. And news has arrived about Rebecca's progress 200 miles northeast of here in Norfolk.
Fabulous win there and fastest lap. How was it for you?
Well, actually, it was really hard work because it's absolutely boiling and I actually feel really poorly. So it took everything that I've got.
Plans for race 2?
Plans for race 2 are keep it on the black stuff and try and get another win and a fastest lap.
Oh, hope you feel better soon. Oh, and by the way, don't you worry about me. I'll mind the shop. Here we have a Mercedes ML 320 CDI. Now, we're definitely sticking with the German theme here today. I would have got you an Italian SUV, but unfortunately there aren't any.
We don't have any.
There's none. Once again, we've got electric boots. You can open it on the key. I don't have to use my nose or anything like that. You can do the same with the Audi, actually.
And that's definitely big enough. I really like it, and again, yeah, easy to close, easy to open.
That's right.
Very practical.
The current generation ML is loaded with top spec. It was first launched in 1997 to break into the luxury SUV market, dominated by the Range Rover. It has since gone on to gain Chelsea tractor status. This one is up at £20,700.
That's good value.
When it was new, this car was around £41,000. It's a sport model, so it gets stuff like tinted rear windows, 20-inch alloys.
Nice.
We've got some running boards there as well.
Very convenient. It looks nice.
Yeah, will you find that handy to help you up in the car?
Absolutely.
Oh dear, I don't think Francesco is particularly amused by my heightist joke. Also, what we've got on this car is bi-xenon headlamps, and they've also got auto-dimming on them.
Excellent.
So when you're driving
Very
down the
practical.
motorway, you can have it on full beam, car comes the other way, turns it down for you. It's actually the facelift model, because it's the 2009, you can see, because it has a kink in the headlamp, and it also has a more aggressive front grille. I have to say, this car is fully loaded. We've got leather interiors, you can see. We've got part Alcantara on the seat, so it should grip you nicely when you want to give it a little bit of sporty driving. We've also got sat-nav. We've got 7-speed automatic gearbox, very similar to what you've got in your Maserati. It is pretty tight, isn't
The
it?
quality of the materials is like it's new.
We've got hill descent control like you've got on the Audi. We've got heated seats as well. I mean,
Climate control, I can see.
we've got rain sensing wipers. I mean, you don't have to do much at all. We've got electric seats with memory function, so if your wife drives it and sets it all up differently, you press a button,
Fantastic.
it goes back to the position you want it in.
It's very big.
Yeah, we've got plenty of space back there. It's a very roomy car in the back, actually. Just pop out. I do want to show you something else, though, because if you ever need to carry lots of stuff, you can fold out the seat squabs like that, so when you fold the seat down, you've got plenty of space.
Oh, it's completely flat.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's handy, isn't it? Chunky materials such as that and heavy seats do add to the weight of the car.
So consumption is not the best.
So consumption is not the best. This is a 3-litre V6 diesel in this car, so we've got better performance than the other two, 0 to 60 in less than 9 seconds. You've got 7-speed automatic gearbox with the paddle shifters as well, but downside is the economy.
They're all very good cars and they all look great. It's a tough decision.
It is a tough decision, but it's one you're going to have to make because you can only test drive 2 of them, so you've got to decide which one you want to sack off.
Well, I'm sorry. The Tiguan is too small. Has to go.
Go on, what do you think about that then, Ruth?
I have to say, I absolutely agree with that choice. Thumbs up.
OK, well, thank God we've got matrimonial harmony on that decision.
So, as the Formula Fords cross the finishing line, Francesco and I set out on the roads of Chippenham to see how sporty the Audi Q5 is.
OK then, Francesco, let's start with your test driving. So do you think you could quite easily endure the long schlep down to Italy?
Yes, I can, both to Italy and Germany. Of course, Italy is a little bit further away.
Yeah.
Maybe I will take a stop first, but it's really quite easy to drive this car. I was a little bit concerned about the size.
If you excuse me, I'm just going to lean across and reset the trip computer because I want to see what kind of MPG this car does out in the real world, because that might influence your decision a little bit.
And you feel like you can really control the road.
Okay. You feel in charge of the road, do you?
In charge.
King of the
definitely.
road, shall we say?
Yeah, I can say that.
Maybe Prince of the road in this car. Maybe King of the road in the Mercedes, which we're
Yeah,
gonna get
well,
next.
let's see later on. But it's very quiet.
This car's actually on sport suspension. Now, with Audi, you can get 3 different suspension settings: normal, sport, or S-Line. Whoever ordered this car originally decided to go for the mid-spec sport suspension, so it's not as hard as it can be. You've got massive door mirrors.
Thank you for pointing that. I've noticed that immediately. I'm used to the mirrors of my Maserati that, of course, for aerodynamic reasons, are so small you see nothing.
But from the outside, they look beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah,
Bella.
but
Is that correct?
perfect Italian, Matt.
Oh, there we go. I'm learning. I was actually told by the dealer that there's a 9-month waiting list on new Q5s, and that's keeping the value of the used ones strong. I would like to think that I can get it closer to your top-end budget of £25,000.
Good.
But
That's a good news.
it all depends on which one you want to go for, because till you decide, I can't do the deal. Well, there goes the TomTom, so yeah.
Maybe it's not the best solution ever.
I think we might need a new one. Oh dear.
I think good. This car good.
It goes all right, doesn't it?
I mean, it's pretty good. I'm reading 27.9 miles per gallon, which is okay, I would say.
Oh, look, it's just gone up to 28.2.
As we return, Castlecomb's paddock is filling up ready for the next race. MG Midgets versus the Austin Healey Sprites. The Austin Healey Sprite first came on the scene in 1958, and early versions were nicknamed Frog-Eyed Sprites. The MG Midget came along in 1961. 21 cars are entering this retro race. Quite a selection of what enthusiasts collectively call Spridgets. Me, I prefer a bigger motor, but you'll see coming up the close call I had with Francesco at the wheel of the Merc.
I thought you were going to hit that. So did the parking sensor, it was flatlining.
Today's I Want That Car comes from Castlecomb Circuit in Wiltshire. With a mini Mosca on the way, Francesco's swapping his Italian stallion Maserati for a slightly more practical and economical family car. Earlier, I showed Francesco 3 SUVs. He rejected the Tiguan.
The Tiguan is too small, has to go.
He's test-driven the Audi.
It goes all right, doesn't it?
I mean, it's pretty good.
Now, we're off in the Merc.
So, first things first.
Well, definitely a very different car, much bigger. It feels bigger. Though I have to notice the auto gearbox is very smooth.
It's very good in Mercedes. Their 7-speed auto is great.
The steering is not as direct.
It's a heavier car.
This feels a little bit, you know, not as precise as the other one. The ride is smooth, and for me that's important.
So you said you felt like king of the road in the Audi Q5. I think we're sitting up even higher in this one, aren't we? So
Yes.
are you more of an emperor of the road now?
I think we can say yes. Yes.
Shall we try see what this car's performance is like? I think earlier I said it had about 230, 240 horsepower. It's a little bit enthusiastic there. It's actually 224. Doesn't exactly fly, but it seems to have more shove than the Audi, doesn't it?
Yeah. If it's, you know, I'm used to the Maserati, which a car where when you accelerate, there is like something big happening. It's an event every time you accelerate. This one feels very, very smooth, very controlled, very safe. That, you know, that's what I'm looking for.
So how do you like it? Is it comfy?
Very comfy, absolutely. The steering wheel is a bit big.
It's quite easy to get comfy as well. I was messing
Yeah, I've got electrics. The Audi
electric
was manual.
seats. You've also got electric adjustment to the steering wheel as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've noticed that. Very nice touch.
Weird thing though, despite all those electronics, your parking brake is actually operated by your foot.
I've noticed that, but not a problem. It's a, you know, a tradition for Mercedes to have this type of brake, and it's been proved to work well. So
You should definitely check out the trip computer to see what it's saying.
24.4 miles per gallon.
Very good spatial awareness. I thought you were going to hit that.
No.
So did the parking sensor, it was flatlining.
I told you I'm a very good driver.
I think you're just very lucky, mate.
Well, it looks like the midgets are done for today, and as the paddock fills up once again, I leave Francesco to ponder his choices and make my way back to meet our first-time buyer and help him choose his second car. 21-year-old Aidan Rennie Jones would ideally like a Bentley Mulsanne, but on a £3 budget, that's a tall order, even for me.
Well, I'm looking for something that looks nice and very reliable.
He would like leather, but nothing French. Strange, considering what started his interest in all things cars.
I think my love of cars started when I was about 1 or something like that. My parents bought a Citroen 2CV.
Aidan, tell me, why are you a first-time buyer?
Well, I did have a car before this, but it was a present. So this is the first time I've gone out with some money to find my own car.
Okay.
And sadly, I lost my last car.
You lost it, where did you put it? You can't
Well, sadly, it was written off.
It was written off?
Yeah, somebody reversed into my car so fast that they wrote it off.
People say, oh dear, okay. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm a student. I'm studying journalism up in Scotland.
Okay.
And I hope to be a motoring journalist, funny enough, like yourself.
So you want my job? Do you want to just swap positions and you can maybe do this bit?
I'd like to try that sometime.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want something sporty, good looking, reliable. You want the moon on the stick, don't you, really? What is your budget?
It's £3,000.
Oh, you definitely want the moon on the stick, don't you? Okay. You said you wanted something sporty, and I've gone and given you a Ford Focus. But as a motoring journalist, you'll probably recognise that this isn't just any Ford Focus, is it?
No, it's an ST170.
That's right, that's exactly right. Under the bonnet, you've got a 2-litre engine, which has been rated to, as the name suggests, 170 horsepower. They've given it sport suspension, they've lowered it, it's got rated brakes, it's also got a close ratio gearbox. So would that be sporty enough for you?
I think it would, definitely. And I really like the colour as well. It's really, really nice.
It's a nice colour, isn't it? It's a nice price as well. £2.5 this is up at.
2.5.
2.5, yeah. I mean, it started back in the day, 2004 this car is. Started at 17 grand.
That's amazing.
So it's come down in value, and it's got some nice bits on it as well. We've got xenon headlamps in there.
Right.
So, 2.5 grand. It's done 75,000 miles.
That's really good.
So it's not too bad.
No.
That's low enough mileage for you.
Definitely.
It's obviously she's out of my league, but how can I win? She keeps dragging me in, and I know I never will be good enough for her. No, no.
This car actually has electric height adjustment for the driver,
Oh, okay.
so you can get nice and comfortable. So know if you want to get in. So how does that feel?
It's really nice, and it's in really nice condition as well. Very, very well laid out dash, I have to say.
We've got climate control, so not just air conditioning, you can actually set the temperature you like. It's quite handy on a car of this age.
Yes.
It's quite rare, actually. How about the rest of the car? I mean, it looks quite tidy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I really like the leather. It adds a really nice touch.
OK, we've obviously got to check the bodywork over. This is a sporty car, so there's a chance it could have been owned by a boy racer, and you want to look for signs of damage, such as maybe it's been resprayed, some big panel gaps, just the obvious signs. There's you know, bits of battle scars from it, from just general day-to-day living, but overall it looks quite tidy to me.
Definitely.
And this is, you've probably noticed, it's the 5-door model, and one of the things with this being the 5-door is it's more likely to have been owned by a sensible person.
Yes.
OK, because they probably had a family, that's why they went for the 5-door. So do you travel to university?
I do. I travel all the way up to Scotland and back, so that's a 500-mile
Okay.
journey. So I've got to fit everything in. So this would definitely be a bonus.
So this could be quite a practical car for you.
The Ford Focus ST is now in its 3rd generation. It had a facelift in 2008, and the 2013 version has 250 horsepower.
The boot itself,
Well, very spacious.
it's quite spacious. Now, it is always worth checking that this car should have a space saver spare. It has. Sometimes you buy these things, get them home, and realise that's missing. Now, have you noticed these down here?
Yes, parking sensors.
It's another feature on this car. Will that be handy for you?
Definitely. I'm not that great at parking.
No, do you know what? I completely have to rely on parking sensors all the time. I've been spoilt. OK, so this car is up for 2.5, like I said earlier. But it's not a minter, because of, like, these bits of damage here and on the wing mirror. It's all right condition, so I'd be trying to use those as leverage to get the price down a bit. What you also need to know is just had an MOT.
Right, okay.
And it's quite handy because one of the things that can go on these cars is the catalytic converter, and that can be very costly to replace. It's past MOT, it should be fine.
It should be okay.
Another thing worth noting is whether it's had a recent cam belt change. Other than that, it's fairly reliable.
Okay.
Ford says 31 miles per gallon, and you're saying you've got to go up the motorway
Yes, 500-mile journeys.
There's another thing as well. You're 21.
Yeah.
This is a hot hatch.
Insurance. That is something I definitely have to check out, see how much it would be.
Okay, so here we have a Mini 1.
Okay.
What do you think about it?
It's a nice colour. Yeah, I quite like the Mini, and I like the wheels actually, not too bad.
Yeah, this one's actually got optional alloy wheels on it.
Yeah.
This is the 1, so it's quite basic.
Yeah.
You've got a 1.6 litre engine with 90 horsepower, so it's going to be a lot cheaper
To insure.
to insure and to run, because it'll do around 43 miles per gallon,
Okay.
which is a lot better than the Ford Focus ST.
Definitely.
You're 60 though, about 11 seconds.
Slow.
But this car's all about character.
The Mini One is British built, with final assembly in Oxford.
They hold their value pretty well. So this is a 2002, brand new. It was about 10 grand. Today, 3195.
Right, okay, so about nearly 200 over my budget.
Okay, can you stretch that?
I probably could, yeah.
Okay.
I think I could.
I'll be looking to get a little bit of money off this one again. I mean, we have got little bits of damage at the front here. Can you see that dent there?
Yeah.
It's a bit annoying. It's worth checking with these cars, actually. I may look like a complete idiot right now, but you've got to check that the bumper's firmly fixed, because they're quite
Right.
low. You can have a speed hump,
And it can
they can
catch.
come loose.
Right.
Absolutely.
Lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against pulled me down and pulled my knees.
Hasn't got the leather that the ST has, but I can live with that.
Uh-huh.
I really like it, yeah. It's very nice in here.
What do you think of that big Speedo? You able to get on with that?
It adds a touch of the old Mini, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've got rev counter up there as well.
Yeah.
So you can see what your engine speed is. But there's something missing.
Air conditioning
This car has no air conditioning, which
Right.
on a day like today
is needed, very much so.
would definitely put me off this car. But how do you feel about that? Did your last car have air conditioning?
Yes, it did. That might be an issue for me, actually, because, like you say, on a day like this, it's a very nice thing to have. and I'd feel that not having it would be like downgrading slightly from my previous car.
Just notice this. Can you see the wear here?
Yes.
No, it's the same over the other
Same over
side. Steering wheel as well. It's had
A bit of wear.
sign 84,000 mile car.
Yes.
A couple of things you need to know when you're buying this kind of car. Early ones, such as this, had a tendency to leak around the door seal, so
Right.
it's worth just checking just under these mats here, see if it's damp. It's probably not going to be on a day like today. But smell it, and if it smells like a wet dog,
Then it's had
it's
water
been
leaking.
leaking. Yeah. So here we have it then, Aidan, your Alpha. It's a 147,
Okay.
1.6 litre, 120 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in 10.6 seconds. What do you think of it?
It's really, really nice. Really like it. I really like the kind of pepper pot alloy wheels. They're nice.
Is there anything that concerns you about having an Alfa Romeo?
Well, reliability is not always Alfa's strong suit, really.
To maybe allay your fears, the 147 was one of Alfa's more reliable cars, and they're generally pretty good if they've been fully serviced, and apparently this one has.
Okay.
See what that says there?
Lusso.
Lusso. Okay? That means it's top of the range model.
DJ got the party started, there's no end in sight. Everybody's moving to the rhythm that's inside.
It's got a full leather interior.
One up from the Ford Focus, which is part leather. How do you feel sitting in it compared to the Focus and the Mini?
I think that this has a bit more class to it than the other two. I feel that this car is a bit more comfortable actually than the other two as well. And it's got an armrest, which is quite a nice little touch.
Like I said, it's a Lusso model, so it's got lots of equipment. Like the Ford, if you look down there,
Yep,
we've actually got climate control.
brilliant.
And so, yeah, hand on a day like today. You've also got cruise control on this car,
Right, okay. I think it's a nice touch, definitely.
so it can be handy for your trip up north.
Yeah, definitely.
One small issue is the economy. It's not as good as the Mini.
Right, okay.
A little better, actually, than the Ford. So it's about 35 miles per gallon.
That's not too bad.
Okay, insurance is cheaper, though, than the Ford because it's only
Right.
1.6, and taxes as well.
Paintwork's in very good nick, actually. And so the wheels, they're not pitted, really. I mean, there's a little bit there, but it's not bad at all. I think it's in very good condition. I think someone's looked after it quite well.
Okay, so what kind of price do you think this car would be?
Well, I don't know, 2,500, something
Okay.
like that?
Actually, it's a fiver under 2 grand.
Wow,
You
that's
see-
really good.
Alphas, they kind of depreciate like a South American currency, and on the
Right.
used market, that's to your advantage.
Brilliant.
Okay then, so you've got 3 very different cars to choose from.
Yes.
So do you think it's going to be a bit tricky to decide which ones you want to test drive and the one you want to sack off?
Well, I think it is going to be a bit tricky because they're all quite nice cars, actually.
Okay then, so while you're making up your mind, we'll take a break.
Coming up, banker Francesco has to decide if his new baby's car seat will end up in the Audi or the Merc. And first-time buyer Aidan decides which of his trio to bin. Earlier, I showed first-time buyer Aidan 3 cars.
2.5 grand this is up at.
2.5.
It's now time
It's a nice colour.
for him to pick the 2 to test drive.
Really, really nice. Really like it.
But which one will he reject?
It's crunch time. You've got to sack off one of these cars, but which one will it be?
Well, they're all nice cars, but I'm going to say bye-bye to the Mini
Okay.
because I just feel it's a bit too basic and not sporty enough for what I'm looking for.
Okay then, so you're going for the Alpha
And the Ford.
What do you like about those 2 cars?
Well, the Alpha, it's really sporty and it's got a really nice interior. And again, with the Ford, I really like the colour, really like the interior, and it's very sporty indeed.
Well, do you know what? I think Aidan has made the right choice, if for no other reason that on a day like today, how could you choose a car that doesn't have air conditioning? Here we go then, Aidan, in the Ford Focus ST170.
Yep.
Have you driven a car with more than 170 horsepower yet?
No, I haven't.
Now, you promise not to kill us, don't you?
Yes, promise.
Now, this car's on sports suspension. It's lower and stiffer over the normal Focus, but it should still be pretty comfortable.
That feels really good.
Oh my God, you just drove into a pothole, and yeah, I felt a bit firm then, didn't I?
It did indeed. Hope you're doing that too often.
No, hopefully I haven't damaged the alloys.
No.
It's got a 6 CD changer. Would you ever use that?
Yes, definitely. I'm a bit old school myself. I do like the CDs.
Really? Would you like a kind of an actual record player in the car? Play vinyl or an 8-track?
That would be brilliant.
See what it can do.
Okay.
Keep it going. No, we did change the full, man. We're back into second. Keep on going. Yeah, nice work. Is that 60? Now, this car isn't as quick as something like a Honda Civic Type R.
No.
They are noticeably faster, but they're a little bit more expensive as well. So it's all right there at the top end. It really pulls hard,
It really
doesn't it?
does. It's very, very good.
Got a bit lost. That's one thing we haven't got. We haven't got sat nav.
I've got sat nav.
No, it's definitely this way. Is it? I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, isn't that hot high?
Probably. Yeah, we're all right down here. So what do you think of this overall?
I think it's a really nice car, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
So you like it more than you thought you would?
Yes. I didn't expect it to be that sporty, and it just is very sporty.
Speaking of very sporty things, our Rebecca is on the grid again for a second and final race today at Snetterton. There she goes, in car 0. Oh well, at least I get her going a 12-year-old Alpha.
Right then, Aidan. Alpha 147.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be good, isn't it?
Yes, it is, definitely. The pedals, I think, just because it's an Italian car, they seem a little bit tight together.
Yeah, the Italians have really small feet. We should go check out main buyer, actually. He is Italian. We're going to look at his feet.
We're going to look at his feet.
See if he can fit this car. Because you can't. You've got big, daft, stupid duck feet.
Not really.
Like a clown's feet. Look at them. Listen. Look a little bit sweaty there, mate. Shall we turn the aircon on? Okay, let's have the aircon on. Oh, there we go.
No,
Always worth checking on an Italian car. You got sweat dripping off your
absolutely
face.
dripping with sweat because the aircon doesn't work and it's the hottest day of the year.
I'm going to put the window down, otherwise we might perish.
We might perish. Clutch is much more.
It's a bit more.
It's a bit more. It's a bit more. Yeah, it generally is. I don't like the clutch.
That's probably a great way to describe it, actually. Is the bike really high?
Yes.
Right, now, these cars have self-adjusting clutches, which means that if the bike is high, the clutch is on its last legs.
Right. Okay.
Let's check it out. It should be quite crisp. The engine should be crisp as well. Let's rev it out. Don't get out of that gear yet, my friend.
Takes a lot of revs to get it to go.
Still faster than your old Seat, though, right?
Oh yeah. No, I think it is a bit faster than that.
Time to find out if Aidan's going to go for the 2-litre Ford at 2.5k or the 1.6 Alpha going for 1995.
Which will it be? It's going to be the 2001 Alfa Romeo, which is just under £2,000 and has a few problems here and there, as we discovered on the test drive. Or the 2004 Ford Focus ST170, which is up for £2,500.
It takes a lot of revs to get it to go, and it just is very sporty. Well, the car that I like out of both of them is the Ford.
Okay.
But I have to say, I will have to look into a couple of things before I go ahead and buy it, which would be to see about the cam belt and also if insurance is going to be really expensive for me or not as well.
Okay, I think that's perfectly sensible. You need to know whether you can insure this car. And the cam belt, well, I actually had a word with the seller about this. I said, listen, it's going to need the cam belt soon enough. That's going to cost at least a couple of £100. Okay. I got him down to £2,200, and he was a little bit cross about that.
Right.
Does that sweeten the deal a little bit?
It does, yeah. I think that's quite good to have some money off, but I still need to check that insurance just in case it's a bit expensive.
That's absolutely. If you can get the insurance at a decent price,
Yeah.
would you have that car?
I would.
Well, I think we can bank on insurance not being an issue for Maserati owner Francesco. His Teutonic decision is between the Audi and the Merc.
Which one is it to be? Is it going to be the Audi Q5, 2 years old, 28,000 miles, up at just under £27,000? Or is it going to be the Mercedes ML320 CDI at £20,700, 4 years old, 50,000 miles?
I mean, it's pretty good. It's really quite easy to drive this car.
I think we're sitting up even higher in this one, aren't we?
Very comfy, absolutely. The steering wheel is a bit big.
Which one is it going to be? And choose wisely, because I was speaking to your wife earlier. If you make the wrong choice, you're in trouble.
I know I'm going to make the right choice, and I go for this car.
You want the Mercedes?
Absolutely. It's very smooth, fantastic car, look beautiful. I'm happy with my choice.
Okay, well, that is the right choice according to your wife as well, so
Excellent news.
that's good news. Now, I spoke to the dealer about this earlier, see what price I could get it for. Like I say, £20,700. It's got no tax on it. I had a word with the dealer about that, and he said he would let me have it for under £20,000.
Well, that's good. Let me have a think, because I know there are a lot of them on sale
Okay.
at the moment, because of course last year the new ML came out,
Yes.
and there are a lot on sale for around 19,000 with the same mileage.
Okay.
So we need to speak with the dealer and see what we can get. Maybe there are some scratches on the wheel, whatever, you know. Let's try to see if we can get a fantastic deal.
Well, this is a first. One of our buyers trying to get a better deal than we can. Fingers crossed it doesn't, or I'll be out of a job.
Well, I'm not going to buy 20,000 because I think I can source it cheaper, but I like the car. What can you do?
Well, I didn't get a result, and trust Rebecca to be racing today. But at least she's triumphed, unlike the driver of car 44. She had a close call when car 64, driven by Hen Sharp, took the inside line. But she fought back on the centre straight and went on to win. She's still leading the production Boxster Championship by 2 points. Can't wait to tell her about Francesco.
Well, he's still at it now, arguing with the dealer to see if he can get any money off. I don't think he's going to, you know, but hey, it means he can drive his Maserati for a little bit longer.
Well, as I predicted, Francesco couldn't get any further discount, so he decided to keep his Maserati and bought a more family-friendly Volkswagen Touran MPV. Wannabe motoring journalist Aidan didn't buy the Focus ST, as the insurance was £1,000. With a little help from his dad, he did get a Mercedes C-Class Coupe, whose insurance was only £780, fully comp.